Could I please what? Come to MSU Baroda. Girl, I am coming to Baroda. As visiting faculty, I would have to shift to Baroda. Here I teach two colleges in Mumbai. That only is training me. I am happy with that much. Thank you. Not going beyond that. Huh. Okay. We waited enough for many people. Hello, hello. Yeah, I mean, my throat is dying over here. Given how much I've like, you have to scream when you're taking a lecture. Like scream, I don't like to speak loudly. So I'm done with yeah. But I do enjoy teaching. It's fun. Sending this I have it. I have it. Yes. So we are here to talk about NET and particularly NET and JRF because I'm assuming that some people also want to clear JRF. But what I have seen, okay, like in the past 3-ish, 4-ish years, right? I see the same generic advice about NET, and I was not satisfied with that. I was not really, it didn't seem right to me. And seeing how the cutoffs are going, anyone give NET this time in June? Some people met me also over there. They said hi. So a few people were there. I think there was a girl called Prisha also who said hi to me right outside the this outside the exam. I was so if you ever given a NET exam, they take your bags and stuff, and I really was like rushing to my bag because I wanted to check my phone. So someone said hi to me when I was like rushing towards my bag. Yeah, how was NET people? Was that nice? Was it nice? Yes. Cutoff kitna tha? 200 and for JRF and NET. What was the cutoff this time? 248. Yeah. Rolado. Yes. So you can see that around 248 was the JRF cutoff and NET cutoff was around, I'll write it down over here. Okay. JRF was 248 and NET was 226. Okay. 226. And something about this is not sticking well with me. Okay. The cutoffs are going higher and higher. Okay. If you've seen earlier one, the cutoffs, JRF cutoff at one point was 190. 4 years back, I think 4 to 5 years back was 190. You can't dream of such a day now. Right. So something is pushing it higher, and I am seeing people who are giving the exam multiple times. I personally know someone who's given the exam like 7 times and still not gotten the RF. Right. So very smart person, very well studied, but still not able to clear the RF. And I was curious as to what even is the main thing that can help someone clear the RF. Right? And we will also have a nice discussion about that, right? But I also want to illustrate what we have found. We've done some analysis, quantitative and qualitative, but I also want to share with you what we have found about it, right? We'll share that with you and how you can then use that for your practice, for your evaluating your own ability, evaluating your own progress. Okay, we share that with you of how you can do that by yourself. You basically just need like an Excel sheet or something, right? If you want to keep it very simple, you could also use a pen and paper also. Like, but we'll show you how what is more important here. Okay, we'll talk about it. We'll do it. Okay. But before that, before we start with that, right? Hold on, let me get rid of this. Okay. Before we start with that, okay, I want to talk about, not talk about, sorry. I want to ask you to keep a book and a pen next to you because I want to illustrate something here. So take a book out, a pen out. Okay. I am going to show you 8 MCQs. Okay, I'm going to show you 8 MCQs, and I want you to solve them with me. Okay, I want to start with that. Okay, so I want you to do two things. Okay, you write the number of the question, right? There are eight, so 1, 2, 3, 4. You write the option number you think it is, and next to that, okay, next to that, I want you to write how confident you are in your answer, ranging from 0 to 100%. Is that much instruction clear? Can I get a thumbs up if that much instruction is clear? You take a piece of paper, you write the numbers of questions, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then, which as I show you the questions, you will write the answer that you think it is, right? A, B, C, D, whatever, right? And right next to that, in brackets, if you want, right? You put the uh, how confident you are in your answer. Okay. So I'll give you a minute. Get a piece of paper out. Get some pen. Right? No need to draw like with a ruler and all. Okay, no one is seeing. I mean, if you want me to see, you can send it to me. I'll appreciate it, but not necessary. Right? So I'll give you a second to get the resource ready. Let me wipe this out till then. I'm also seeing some people from our this when we had done that the foundational series and the advanced series for June wala. So good to see you guys also over here, right? Uh, yeah, yeah. See, people are here, right? That was a 1 month like a crash course kind of a thing, but yeah, I'm glad that those people are also here. Nice to see you all. Yes, hello. How are you guys doing? Yeah, see, yes, I remember Subiksha. Yeah, I remember you all. How many people are there from that? Yeah. So many people from that. The advanced thing also cleared NET and JRF. Very happy about them. Some cleared NET, but still are looking for JRF. So are we ready? Piece of paper and the things, all of it written, and everything ready. Can I get a thumbs up if everyone's ready? I have to come back around for raccoon man. Unfortunately, I didn't put raccoons today because I was very busy the entire day and also been a little unwell. But there will be more raccoons in the future. Don't worry. Don't think I've forgotten. Yes. Oh, hi, Chinmay. I didn't realize Chinmay was for you. Nice to see you here, man. Okay. So I'm going to assume you're ready and we'll start. Hey, hello, Chinmay. How are you? Okay. So we will start. Okay. Awesome. Instructions again, if you just entered, I will show you 8 MCQs. I have a piece of paper. Okay. Please note it down. Please note down your answers that you have written, right? The 8 I will show you MCQs. Note down the option you have written because sometimes people just look at it and they're like, ah, okay, ye hai, man mein mat karo. Because I have really something very important for you to calculate after. I will show you. Okay. So option that you have picked, how confident you are about that answer that you have picked. Let's start. If you're ready to start, just give me one emoji of your choice. Awesome. Also, there's no background noise, right? Can someone just confirm in the chat for me that there's no background noise and it's quiet? I don't want that to interfere. All good? Yes, thank you. Yes, awesome. Hey, Keshav also here. Hi, Keshav. Yes. How many people I'm seeing? Lokita is also here. Lokita, we know her from our CVT team. She's been helping us there. Yeah. Hello, people. Nice to see you. Okay, let's start. Okay, the first one we'll start product easy only. Okay, the form of reliability dependent on inter-item correlation is called 1 split half, 2 KR20, 3 Cronbach, 4 test pretest. Write down the option. Also, if you want, you can put in the chat as well. I will not tell you if it's the right answer or not till the end. But if you want, you can put in the chat. There's a problem. Just once you're done, just writing your answer, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and the confidence number. Just drop a done or a thumbs up or something. So I'll know I can move on. This is fairly simple, fairly straightforward, right? I'm just waiting for a few more people to call. Yeah. Awesome. Most people have finished by now, I believe. Okay. Next, we'll move to the second question then. Okay. The square root of 1 minus r in standard error of measurement represents 1 random variance, 2 error variance, 3 true variance, and 4 total variance. As I said, you're allowed to like put the answer you think is correct in the chat because that also tells me what you guys are thinking is right or wrong. And then accordingly, we can later discuss it. So if you've done marked it, you can put what marked answer you have marked. And if at any point, due to any internet connectivity or something, you miss something, just ask me to repeat. Okay, I'm seeing many people like exit and enter again and again. because of network issues, I'm assuming. Yes, yes. What do you think is the right answer here? Daldo chat me. What do you think? I won't tell you yes or no right now, but what do you think? Hey, not googling or chat GPTing over here, है ना? इज्जत से. No, no one wants to try in the chat. Is the chat even open? One second. Yeah, the chat is open. Okay, one person thinks three. Hey, all of you were there. No, for our earlier thing. I have a very vague memory. Yeah, I think you were there. Or if I'm confusing someone, I'm sorry, I don't know. Yeah, yeah, he was there. Yes, I remember. Resh, don't want to try in the chat. It's fine. I won't make fun. Okay, one person tried to. One. Yes. Okay. Two, three. Okay. Awesome. I will move to the next question. Okay. Next. If error variance is equal to zero, reliability is dash. A zero, B one, C undefined, and D depends on the sample size. Sorry. Okay. One person CR thinks it's B. I'm making all do this for a reason because when we are done with this, I want to illustrate something. Okay. You'll notice that the questions also have a particular theme. Okay. It looks like most people are done, right? Okay. Awesome. Lovely. Okay. Moving on to the next. Two tests measure the same construct with equal reliability. Their composite score reliability is dash. Lower, same, higher, unrelated. So you have to put your the option that you think is right, A, B, C, D, and उसके बाजू में next to that the confidence you think, how confident am I about the answer I picked. Okay, one person is saying C. Are you all done? Okay, looks like most people are done. Okay, if you don't know, still just try whatever you think could be best because also net does not have a negative mark, so that one good. Try that. ठीक है. Next, split half reliability mainly depends on dash. Test length, item homogeneity, number of raters, and error distribution. I think this is the second last from the list here. Split half reliability mainly depends on one of these. Okay, one person is saying D, another person is saying B, another person is saying D. Mhm. Okay, awesome. We'll looks like most people are done. Then we will move on to the next one. Okay. Oops. Dash is a measure of internal consistency of scale items primarily used in SEM. Sorry, I forgot to put the numbering. Just pick it as 1, 2, 3, 4 or ABCD, whichever you feel better. Dash is a measure of internal consistency of scale items primarily used in SEM. If you're done, give me a awesome, awesome, very nice, very, very nice, lovely, great. And so the last one, no, second one, sorry. Reliability is undefined when True variance is less than error variance, so total variance is equal to 0, true variance is equal to 0, error variance is equal to 0. Mhm. If you're done, give me a thumbs up. Yeah, yeah, looks like a few people are done. Very, very nice. Awesome. Last one. Yes. Reliability is not equal to 0 even if dash. Last one. Okay, 1% at D. What about the rest? What do you think? Okay. If you're done, just give me a thumbs up. Awesome. Great. Very nice. Now, um, what did you think of these 8 items that I created for you? Thoughts? I will tell you the scores and how and everything I'll tell you. Right? But what do you think about it right now? No, I'm being something sad emojis. Kya hua? No, all related to research psychometrics, all related to reliability and a very specific category of reliability. And I'll tell you what. Okay. Almost all the items were based on this one thing. Okay. Oh, it's on a return mode. 1 second. Were based on this one thing. Whoa. Okay. Didn't realize that it's so big. Reliability is equal to true variance divided by total variance. Almost all the items that you just solved were based on this one concept. Okay. And I'll be telling you soon why I'm talking about all of this also, trying to illustrate the point. Okay. But before I do that, we'll quickly look through the answers. Okay. And I want you to check how many you got right. Okay. And yeah, over here, what is the right answer? The right answer here, I'll quickly go through this. Okay. I'll pick yellow color. Here, the answer is Cronbach. Right. Over here, what is the right answer? The next one. What do you think is the right answer here? If you got it right, just put a check mark right next to it. Right. What is the right answer here? True variance 1%. Saying here the right answer is the second one. Error variance. Okay. Let's move. Here the right answer in the third one is if error variance is equal to 0, reliability is equal to 1. So for the third one, right? Third one, the answer is B. Okay. The fourth one, the answer is C. Higher. Because okay, I'll explain it if you want. Then over here, split half reliability mainly depends on item homogeneity. B. Right? This is the fifth one, I believe. Yes. Sixth one, dash is a measure of consistency. What is the right answer here? Dash is a measure of internal consistency of a scale items primarily used in SEM. Nope. The right answer is D. Cronbach composite reliability. बराबर पढ़ो. See, I'm saying SEM. Right. Last one over here. Reliability is sorry, second last. Reliability is undefined when the right answer here is total variance is equal to 0. B is the right answer. Last one, reliability is not equal to 0 if the right answer is C. Systematic bias present. How many people got 8 out of 8? You got 8 out of 8, just write 8 out of 8 on the chat. How many got 7 out of 8? Okay, 1%. Very good. Yes, very good. You got 7 out of 8, just put on the chat you got 7 out of 8. How many got 6 out of 8? Okay, I'm seeing 1%. Two people. Okay. How many got 5 out of 8? Okay, very nice. Very, very nice. Very good. Very nice. How many got 4 out of 8? 4 or less. Chalo. Yeah. So, based on this little exercise, okay, that we have just done, I want to ask you this question then. Yeah, all right, you can keep the hand on. I want to ask you this question then based on what we've just done. What predicts success in net? What do you, because all of you who are here, I'm hoping are attempting to, are hoping that you can clear net or and or JRF, right? So the question then I have for you is what does this? What predicts success in net? What gives you the leverage to clear it? What are the things? Start listing. I'm pretty sure you might have a list of things that you think are going to be necessary for someone to clear the exam. Tags, no negative marking. Okay. Those are like what the exam has done. Let's talk about you, right? On your end. Okay, very nice. I will write over here consistency. Okay, let me use black one. Okay, someone has written consistency and conceptual clarity. Very nice. और क्या है? Fundamentals. Okay, I'll add fundamentals also. What else? Number of PYQs. Okay, what else? What else helps you? Okay, good memory. Fine. Practice and luck. Practice, I'll keep it this over here. Formula based learning, resilience. Okay, being very clear, clarity, confidence, need to brush up basics. Basics and fundamentals I'll treat as equal. MCQ practice also I'll treat with PYQs only. What else is needed for you to clear net or JRF? Motivation, yes, that's important. What else is necessary for you to clear net exam? Patterns in paper conduction, yes, which will come from PYQs. So I'll add it as a new thing, but okay, I'll keep it separate. What else is necessary for you to clear net? I'll do one thing. I'll keep it over here, okay? In three different boxes. Okay, so let me say over here one, which is necessary. Okay, I'll keep it in two, sorry. Two boxes I'll keep. Necessary, but not enough. Paper one plus paper two, goal setting, masters is 50%. Array, that is like the eligibility criteria. Both the story, right? Over here, you see that a few things are necessary. You need to have them to clear net, but they are not enough, right? Consistency, conceptual clarity, right? Fundamentals, number of PYQ patterns, right? Take this for example. Take motivation, number of PYQ patterns, and fundamentals, right? I know people who have given the exam 4, 5, 6, 7 times also. They have motivation because I mean, if you're solving it that many times, you really have the motivation. They have the fundamentals down. They have the number of PYQs down because they've some in some cases, if you're given 4 to 5 times, you literally solve the PYQs during that only, right? While giving the exam. उसके ऊपर से they would have also practiced it, like earlier PYQs. Same applies to patterns. When you've given the exam so many times, you also have seen the patterns, right? So despite that, they're not able to clear. Conceptual clarity also, I would say that they have, right? These people who have given the exam so many times, they have the conceptual clarity with the fundamentals at the very least, right? Consistency also, I mean, if you're practicing so much, you do. So I will put all of these things that you have mentioned, right? I will mention motivation, uh, consistency, consistent. Yeah, I thought I missed something. I'll put consistency here. I'll put conceptual also. Okay. Conceptual clarity. Basics I'll put here, like with fundamentals. Okay. PYQs or MCQs, right? I'll put them also here. So these are all necessary for you to clear net. You cannot clear net without these, but they are also not enough for you to clear net, right? But itne say you won't clear net. What else do you need? Time management. So honestly, it's difficult to not have time in net because I remember I was just sitting there getting really bored because I finished my paper like half an hour earlier. To know what to learn, everything is not important. What is important then? What is not important? Faith in self, I guess that's nice, but is it enough? Right? These are all things that are necessary but not enough. Good grasp of paper's language. The language is honestly not that hard. It's pretty simple. English or Hindi or whichever you go into, it's not that difficult. Okay. Someone said IQ, so I'll mention IQ also over here. I have very interesting to say about IQ also, but I'll get to that in a bit. What else is necessary for you to clear NET and JRF? What is necessary and enough? Necessary and sufficient. All the things you're telling me are necessary but not enough. People who have high IQ don't necessarily clear NET. So clearly that it's important to have a decent IQ, but it's not enough. So what is enough? What makes it enough? At what point can you say that I have enough if of this to be able to solve NET and clear NET or solve for JRF and clear JRF? And what's astonishing to me is that no one is talking about. This one thing is your greatest indicator, right? All of the things that you're mentioning to me right now, right? All of these are predictors or indicators, right? These are all predictors or indicators. These are all your predictors or indicators of clearing NET. Practice I've added here with PYQs and MCQs, right? Think about it. Every single person, or at least almost every single person who is like scoring about 200 on a net, right? On the net exam, has practiced a lot, right? Has practiced a lot. How much factual information? Again, it's not a competition of who knows the most, to be honest, right? Because if you give the net exam like 4 to 5 times, you honestly know a good amount of things that are needed. But some person who has given the exam just once can also clear JRF, which I know a few people who have. A good guide or mentor, okay, that is again necessary but not sufficient because many people who have studied have good guides but not still not been able to clear it. So tell me what is necessary and sufficient as well. At what point does it can you say that I have practiced enough or that I have studied enough or that I am confident enough? The number of correct answers, right? Okay, that is possible, but again, it's the same as practice, right? How much you are practicing. And as you, okay, luck also I will write down over here, but I'll also talk about that also. Luck is also something we don't use the word luck to be honest. It is something that affects, but I'll talk about it in a second. Okay, but it looks like the speed, again, speed doesn't really matter all that much to be honest. Right? I remember I was sitting there getting really bored for like half an hour. So let me talk about over here the two things that were mentioned, right? IQ, for example. IQ is going to affect net, but not in the way you think it is, right? Just because you're smart doesn't mean you're going to get a higher net score. But people who have a higher IQ tend to be more academically inclined, right? So people see them as academicians. So they usually put in more effort because of that, not because they are smarter or something. So IQ is not something I would carry. Luck over here is just what we would call random variance, right? It can either go up or down because of different reasons. But I don't want to conceptualize on luck or depend on that, right? I don't. want to focus on luck or something. I want to focus on something that eliminates the need for me to care about luck. Again, elimination is also something people do. A combination of practice and being regulated enough. Yeah, they are necessary, right? You can't clear net without those. All of the things you're mentioning are necessary, but not enough. Yeah, okay. Everyone makes an educated guess, right? So at what point is it enough, right? At what point is it enough? The point where it is enough is when, right, you can basically, right, I'm a statistical guy, I will conceptualize it that way. But when you are able to solve novel or unseen questions with a confidence of greater than 0.7, let me explain what this means, right? From what I have seen from our analysis of our data, right, from people who have been solving the net exam, net MCQs on our website, and from our own interviews with people who have cleared JRF in just one shot, what we have realized is that they can solve anything you throw at them, right? Questions that they've never seen in their lives, right? They can solve it and with a confidence of greater than 0.7. And I'll explain what I mean by this also. But they're able to solve it with also a high confidence, right? Over here, these questions that I just showed you, right? You marked an answer, but I'm pretty sure that some of you would have had a confidence level that I asked you to put, right? Of between 0 to 100%. It would not have been very high for certain things, right? It would have not been very high. For the first question, for example, your confidence would have been somewhere around 80%, 90%, I'm assuming, 80 to 80, 70 to 80% on average, right? But as I went below over here, right? As I went below over here with all these questions, your confidence level would have dropped, right? And the reason for that is you have learned. Where did that go? I just Where did all of that go? Here it is. You have learned, right? I'm assuming that some of you might have learned this formula, right? That reliability is equal to true variance divided by total variance, right? This is all a part of the necessary thing. But the fact that you could not apply this knowledge to all of these confidently was the problem. That was the problem, right? You know this. Some of you might have learned this before that reliability is equal to true variance divided by total variance. But you would not have been able to apply it to questions you've never seen before, right? So they're making educated guesses, trying to eliminate is not going to be helpful. So you are not looking to only have this, right? Most of net prep, right? The resources, the books that they recommend to you are focused on all of these. But no one is attempting to focus on this. That how can I reach a point where I can solve any question thrown at me and be confident because I know how to apply it. I know how to apply the knowledge I have. So that you give me any question, I'll solve it. I'll know how to think about it, right? Like over here, this question, reliability is not equal to zero even if dash, right? Systematic bias is the right answer. Why? Because if there is systematic bias, everyone will be answering the same way because of the systematic bias, right? Over here, for example, total variance and reliability. If you would know this pretty well, only if you know the formula pretty well, right? R is equal to true variance divided by total. So if total is zero, right? Total is only zero, then the denominator is zero. If the denominator is zero, then it's always negative. It's always undefined. Sorry, right? Look at this one. One more is there. The square root of 1 minus r in standard error of measurement, right? Now, this is a bit of a tricky question because this is not directly related to reliability, but it's very important, right? Because the standard error of measurement is written as the standard deviation multiplied by the square root of 1 minus r. Here, r is reliability. So, if you know that what reliability stands for, 1 minus r is basically everything that is left out, right? If reliability is 0.8, whatever is left out from this is equal to 0.2. And if I know that reliability, right, reliability is equals to true variance over total variance, I know that whatever is left behind, right? This has to refer to error variance. This has to refer to error variance. So I was able to extrapolate that based on what this same formula that I learned for a different question that wasn't even related, and I knew that the answer was then error variance. So this is the point I'm trying to make, right? That if you are trying to clear net, okay, if you're trying to clear net and JRF, you are going to exist somewhere around here. Okay, you're going to exist on these levels. All right. And the reason why so many people are giving the net exam and still not able to clear JRF is because of these, right? You are somewhere around, let me just change the color for this, make it white. Give me 1 second, right? You are somewhere around here mostly, which is why some people are able to still clear the net, but not reach here, right? Level one, and if I can define it based on everything we have covered so far, okay? Level one is when you know the basics, when you know the basics really well, right? You know the basics. You're still struggling a little with certain concepts, right? Recall is strong over here, but your depth is not very strong, right? Recall is stuff you can do, but your depth is not very strong over here in level one. And you're able to still get certain things right, but you're not able to, grasp certain things. For example, if you don't know the reliability is equal to true variance over total variance and what total variance stands for, you are likely here at level one. Level two is where your basics are also there, right? Your recall is also there, and there is some depth, right? You come across certain things, you come across things, right? And this is where people get stuck, right? If you don't clear net once, you tell yourself, oh, I just need to study more, I just need to study more. You think you need more depth, but you're doing the wrong kind of studying for it. You need to reach level three. Level three is what we've realized is where you can clear JRF. The luck thing, the random variance thing, this is it. This is what we were attributing luck to, right? These people can solve anything thrown at them. Why? Because their ability of solving novel questions or questions that no one has seen before, right? Novel thrown at them is so good. Their underlying concept, right? Underlying knowledge, latent underlying knowledge, right, of ability is so strong that they can apply it anywhere, right? Like the second question I asked you about standard error of measurement, right? The question was asking you about standard error of measurement, but it required you to have a proper in-depth understanding of also what the true variance formula is doing, right? The true variance divided by total variance formula was doing. So in that case, you are the kind of person who can solve anything thrown at you. Now the question is, how do you estimate it? How do you know? How do you check your level? Right? I can give you a very simple formula that you can apply. Right? This is the formula I'll give you. It's a little straightforward. It's very simple. So basically, you're adding up all the things. Right? Just now you can also calculate with what you just did. Right? You solve those 8 items. You're basically just adding up. Right? For example, if you got 4 out of 8, you're going to write 4 over here. Right? 4 over here. Basically, how many you got right? How many you got correct? Multiply that with this. This is the average of your confidence. Right? You could do this on Excel in like a few minutes. This is the average of all the confidence. And then divide that by n. That is the number of items. So what this does is it gives you a very quick estimate, right? Because the confidence that you had with the question, right? With any question, when I asked you to do this, that how confident are you with the answer? You are basically answering this, that how well do I know it to be able to apply it? Right? If you are having low confidence score over there, you're basically be saying that, I'm probably guessing. And if that value is less than 50%, you are guessing, which means you are not sure about how to apply it correctly. So if this value, right, this confidence value is going up, right, this confidence value is going up and your correct is also going up, you have a good estimate of your level, right? So if you want, you can try calculating. And if you have a score between, let's say, this will actually give you a score, this will give you a score between 0 and 1, right? Or 0 and 100. So if your score is between 0 to 40%, right? 40%, you are in level 1. Level 1. If your score is between 40 to, I'd say, 65%, you are in level 2. And if your this ability level score, right, that we are having is 65 and above to at least 100%, then you are level 3. And if your goal is to clear JRF, I would recommend not only solving PYQs, not only solving MCQs, but also keeping a track like this of this, and to achieve at least 75 to 85% of this particular thing. The second you cross this, right, overall with everything that you have solved at around 85%, you're going to be doing well. You're going to be clearing JRF, right? This is a very simple formula. It doesn't account for many things. It doesn't account for a few things, right? So again, if you are interested, we are on our website. We are going to be showing like ability level and stuff, right? Uh, like level 2, for example, we have it baked into our formula with a more interesting formula, right? So that was it about the interesting about the important factor that is usually left out, right? To get you to the third one, the third uh, level, right? I want you to also think about the third level. Once you are on the third level, you will not be wasting 3-4 years giving net again and again and again and not reaching that. The formula is very simply the number of things you got right, right? How many you got correct, multiplied by your average confidence, right? Your average confidence in that answer you have given divided by the number of items you have solved. For example, right now, if you had 4 right, no, 4 you got correct, multiplied by your average confidence of let's say 0.7 divided by 8, you'll get a particular value, right? This is a simpler formula for something you want to, it doesn't account for a few things like error rate or penalizing for scores and stuff, but it works well if you want a quick estimate of what your level is, right? It doesn't just tell you how many you got right, how many you got wrong. The novel point is basically when you give the net exam, right, you're hoping that you are going to be solving questions that you have learned before, but that is not enough, right? Because the questions that will come will be about what you have learned and it will be related to what you have learned about. But if you're not able to get into the frame quickly, right, with this question, let me give you an example. Sorry, with this question, the second one, where is it? Right? With this question, when you look at it, standard errors of measurement is very simply about the variance about the score in your whatever psychological assessment, right? Psychometric assessments. But you have to very quickly get yourself into the frame that it's not asking me about that, it's asking me about reliability. And if you are not trained in, you know, answering novel questions, right? Or answering any question thrown at you, you would not have figured out that this is about reliability. So you are not just solving MCQs in hopes that, okay, if I solve 10,000 MCQs, then at least some of it will reflect in my paper. You're trying to solve MCQs such that if I'm solving these MCQs, I also want to see what my ability level is as I'm growing, as I'm solving, as I'm doing this, such that I can reach a phase or reach a point where any question net throws at me, right? The net exam, if it throws it at me, I can handle it because I can get myself into that frame quickly. That is what we mean by novelty or novel point, right? So that was mainly about paper 2. Let me tackle paper 1 quickly. Okay. Paper 1 is something that most people are worried about. Paper 1 is what worries most people. Most people are concerned about paper 1 more than paper 2. And there's good reason for that. And paper 1 covers a variety of things, right? Like mathematical reasoning, data interpretation, right? Logical reasoning, the family trees are there, ICT is there. ICT is something that scares people, right? So normally what a trend that we have seen is that this is where you gain that students get a lot of marks, right? Teaching aptitude, they gain marks because they learn things, right? Bloom's taxonomy and stuff. It's pretty straightforward, right? Communication also, there's theories of communication. There's Shannon's theory of communication, not me, Lord Shannon, right? Shannon's theory of information. Higher education and policies also are something that you just learn about, right? Like the new NEP policies and all of that when it came. So you're still able to score marks there if you've learned it, right? Comprehension is the most scoring because you have to read the question, right? You have to read the question and answer from that. It is very, very scoring. This is where students gain marks on paper 1. Where students lose marks is here. And unfortunately, this is also what students are most afraid of, right? Logical reasoning, data interpretation, and math is what most students are terrified of, right? In June exam, they asked questions about the area of rhombus, right? They asked questions about There was this logical arithmetic progression question was there, right? Of 1, 3, 9, 27, etc., etc., right? There were such questions, and that is where students lose marks, right? But I feel that this is unjustified because these, to me, are the most scoring, right? Again, this same prep style that I've been talking about, right? But these to me, right, are the most scoring. Logical reasoning, data, and data interpretation is incredibly easy, right? If you were there for NET this time, they had given about five different colleges and their admission rate, and they you had to calculate things like about the percentage, which is more, which is less, and that is incredibly easy. You would have gotten 5 marks straight from that, right? 5 marks, as in you would have gotten 5 questions right and 10 marks from that, right? It was very easy. Data interpretation is fairly simple. Logical reasoning and math is something that stops people a little, but that too is very easily recoverable with like enough practice and if you're able to handle some part of math, right? ICT is what bugs people mainly because of a few things like, which there was a question about Mac OS and Linux, right? Or Kali Linux. Not everyone is familiar with Linux and Kali Linux and Mac OS and stuff, right? So that is something that people lost marks on, right? Environment and people is usually closer to like GK, and that is a little unpredictable, right? Environmental and people and even higher policies, they are much more educational higher policies. Those are more GK centric, and people lose marks there quite often. This is also very difficult to prepare for. Okay, but I personally feel that the strongest, right, where you can most gain marks is teaching aptitude, communication, comprehension, logical reasoning, data interpretation, ICT, and math reasoning. To me, this is where you can score the most marks, right? So even if you want to leave higher education or learn like some bits of it and even environment and people, you can still get around 40, 45 out of 50 on paper one. What do they ask in teaching aptitude? Teaching aptitude, usually they ask about like Bloom taxonomy, about MOOCs, right? MOOCs they ask about almost every year. The SWAYAM and all of that, right? The online courses, MOOC. MOOCs they ask almost every year, if I'm not mistaken. So they ask those things in teaching aptitude. And if you're referring to, I think I have it here, this Madan Wala book, I have it behind me, right? That does a pretty good job for paper one. So over here, if you can see, this was this year's cutoff, right, for JRF, 248. And it for this was this. So all you had to do was get, I'm sorry, hold on, let me reach there, right? All you have to do is get 124 correct, right? And next time, like, what? Only 104. But it's only technically paper two, 86 you have to get right, and paper one you have to get 38 out of 50, right? Out of 50 and out of 100, right? Now, I'm going to give higher weightage to paper 2 because you are psychology students, which means that paper 2 you can reach 86, right? 86, 88, you can reach it with the right preparation, right? With the right stuff, you can reach 86 plus, right? Paper 1, I'll give you a little leeway because you're not very familiar with it. So even if I leave out things like higher education policy and the other one, right? Environment and people, or let's say math or something, right? Even if you're wanting, if you want to leave one or two, I would not recommend it, but even if you want to, you can still reach 38, right? So if you're aiming for JRF, also 248 was this year's score in June, but I am expecting it to go a little lower because every test has a upper limit, right? You would have learned this in psychometry. Every test has an upper limit. So if 248 was the upper limit this time, right, beyond which is, was the threshold of the upper limit, right, at which 99.5% reached here, right? 99.5% of people were below 248, right? So the remaining 0.5% were above 248. So I don't expect it to go much higher than that, to be honest, at least for December, right? Maybe 248, 250, it could also come down. So if it comes down, it's awesome. But if it is the case that they make it slightly more difficult because they got criticized for making the exam very easy, you can very easily aim for this, right? 86 and 38, you have approximately 4 months: September, October, November, December, right? 4 months is what you need. That's all. Technically, 3 months would be enough, right? To get through these three levels. If you are starting your preparation, if I'm going to assume that you're at level one right now, right? Most of you from the first MCQs that I asked you, right? Most of you all got four right, 4 out of 8 right. So I'm going to assume that most of you are at level one. So if you give it 3 to 4 months, I can assure you, you will cross through level two by the end of, let's say, by second week or end of October. By December, you will be at level 3. You will be at level 3, which is going to increase your chances of clearing JRF. And that is something that I would really recommend, irrespective, okay, irrespective of whether you are with SciMod or not. I really would like for you to clear JRF. And if you are preparing for MCQs, okay, if you have an Excel sheet, please keep an Excel sheet, right? Keep an Excel sheet or keep a book also, right? Keep a book, keep an Excel sheet. Uh, I don't even mind if you're not like taking a course with us or something, but I really want you to clear this exam, right? So keep an Excel sheet when every time you're solving it, right? Clear the Excel sheet, keep the Excel sheet where you have basically over here the item, right? What question you just solved, right? Whether your answer was right, right? I'll write accurate over here, whether it was correct or not. And lastly, you can add your confidence over here. Confidence, if you want to keep it simple, you can range it between 0 to 1 and keep it like 100, 0 to 100%. Keep this. Please keep this and keep that formula that I told you about. It will keep telling you of where you really rank, right? Where you really rank. And the second you start reaching level 3, you know that you're doing something right, right? You will start seeing that you're progressing from level 1 to level 3 very quickly because you have studied. Right now, most people are getting stuck between level 1 and level 2. And they think that if I keep studying more and more and more, if I'm missing something, I'm not clearing these little things that they'll ask about randomly. If I learn about those random things, then I will know. You can't prepare for the unprepared, for the uncertain, right? You can't prepare for something that is uncertain. What you can prepare for is what you are relatively more certain about. If you could prepare for something uncertain, it wouldn't be uncertain logically, right? So I don't want you to be stuck at that level 2. I want you to reach level 3. And as you start having this overall accuracy score, right, that is measured by your confidence. The confidence here is a substitute, which is helping us understand how unsure you are about the answer. If you are unsure about the answer, we know that you're not able to properly apply it, right? And that is going to help us understand when you reach level 3. I have specifically created this formula just for you so that you can apply it irrespective of whether you're coming with us or not. I don't care about that. I just want you to know this, right? So it's fairly straightforward. It's fairly simple to do, right? So I really, we are at the end of that with what we had to cover. If you have any questions, something you can let me know. But I really do hope that this time you do clear NET and JRF, right? Do people who have cleared NET JRF before already make ranks and chances of others passing NET harder, like cutoff percentage and ranks are highly influenced by them. I would say that the cutoff is technically more influenced by the difficulty of the exam, to be honest. But as more and more people are giving, it is going to affect it, right? So before I end, I do want to say that we will be holding next JRF this year again, and we want to take our course in this light, right? Of making you pass to level 1, level 2, and level 3 so that by November end you will be at level 3. And since other people have priced their course around 10,000 to 16,000 on average, yes, we have calculated. We don't want to keep it at that. We want to keep it affordable. So we have decided to keep it as this. Okay. So you could sign up using our platform with live lectures, recorded lectures, and passing through the analytics, the different things that are there, right? With um, mocks, the MCQs, the predictor, how many right, how many wrong, what level you are at, and we'll also be covering paper 1 and paper 2. So we will be starting from the second week of September, and you can syllabus will be covered of paper 1 and paper 2. And our course will be structured such that we'll be making you pass from level 1 to level 2 to level 3 by before December, so that when November end is here, you will be at around 85%. That is our hope. And still right now we're not planning. We have a few of them, but we're not. Yes, the lectures will be live and recorded. Yes, so the it's 5,000 for 6 months. We really don't want to keep it expensive, right? I don't think you'll get it for cheaper anywhere else. That's also there, right? With live lectures recorded, with MCQs, with this, that, I don't think you'll get it. You can go to simod.in and you can have your subscription, and we'll be starting from the second week of September. When would you recommend if you're aiming for 2026, take it up in 2026. right? No point. Like if you want to start now, that's also okay. I will not. Some people do, but honestly, it's also better if you start a little later. Also, that's also fine. You have that option. So you can use simod.in. You can go to our link, and we will. You can log in and subscribe, and we will see you in September. If you have any questions, you can let us know. I hope that even if whether you're signing up or not, you found this helpful in evaluating on how you can evaluate your progress. Last date to register तो नहीं है because technically whenever like we will be starting, the teachers will be me, will be Sam, and we also have a few people who we're going to ask about. Right? There are also older videos also still present by the way, so you could technically still also access those with this what do you call it with Snehal ma'am, with Aisha ma'am. All of those lectures are also available. Will you be teaching from the basic level? Yes, we will cover. Level one is the basics, right? The basic recall, right? If you don't understand uh, R is equal to through variance divided by total variance, it means you need to know the basics, and we'll be covering the basics. The problem is that people get stuck at the basics and the second level, and we want to move past that also, so that you can clear JRF. Presentation I can't share, but I can share the recording. Complete basics, yes. So lectures we'll be covering all the things that we can cover in the lecture, and we'll also have notes along with that. Right? You're getting notes also. I forgot to mention that. So lectures, notes, mocks, MCQs, and live lectures along with recording. The recording will be available for maybe like the recording is this of this lecture is mainly for people who have not. Like, if you want, you can drop me an email. I can share it to you for like a day, maybe 2 days. Right? I don't want this going out. The timings we'll have to decide together based on what works for everyone. Right? Last time I remember we had kept it in the evening because most people were students. So this time too, we want to keep it in the evening. Yes. If you'd like, you can look at our lectures from before on YouTube. Right? Just type in Simot on YouTube. You can look at our earlier classes from the this and what do you call it? The pre-series and the advanced series. It includes JRF. Yes, we're mainly aiming for JRF and NET. The recorded lectures of the course. Oh, it will be till this. Yes, foundation series. It will be till December after the exam is over. So 6 months validity, or 6 months or Jan Feb also it might be there. We're covering both paper one and paper two because covering only paper two doesn't make sense, right? You need someone who can take you paper one also. So you can head to www. Yeah, you have to like text me on or DM me on Instagram. We'll figure that out. Yes, all the topics from paper one and paper two. I'll let you know about the CUTPG one to see. So I'm to the button about it. Okay, not touching that right now because yeah. But yes, Gauri, paper one and paper two, everything we're covering from the start. Nothing to worry about. Thank you so much for joining, Tavis. Happy to have you here. Yes, you too, Subiksha. That's awesome. If you have any questions, let me know. But yes, if so, we're done and all the best to you guys, right? If I don't see you again for this, if you're there for the classes and stuff, I will see you there. But all the best. I really hope you're able to clear net. You have time ahead of you. You have 4 months. You can do it.